everybody, I am Nate, here with your Notorious News updates today. Thank you very much for joining us here at Notorious News. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a weekly news roundup, bringing you all the news that you need to know from the past week. Okay, first, and the National Hurricane Center is currently monitoring Storm Oscar, which is currently brewing in the Atlantic. El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, and Costa Rica are some of the countries in Central America that could be affected by the storm as it moves slowly northwestward. Okay. Next, and recent studies show that Chris Colombus could have been Jewish. DNA evidence challenges the belief that Columbus was an Italian. It instead now seems more likely that he was a Sephardic Jew from Spain, possibly Valencia. How fascinating. Okay, next, and it's news that you've probably heard across other news sources this week, and it's very tragic, and it is that One Direction member, Liam Payne, he died earlier this week at the age of 31. He died after falling from a hotel balcony in the capital city of Argentina in South America, Buenos Aires. It's a very tragic event and one which will be followed upon, I'm sure, in the coming days and weeks. Okay then, next, and according to analysis by the BBC, the company United Utilities pumped hundreds of millions of litres of waste into Lake Windermere. This sewage was put into the lake over a 3-year period at times when the company were not supposed to. On top of this, they also didn't report on roughly 100 million litres of that pollution too. United Utilities, the company responsible, say they have implemented changes and that they self-report over 94% of potential pollution incidents to the Environment Agency. Campaigners are calling for transparency and stricter rules so that we can protect British water. Okay, next up, and there has been lots going on in Israel recently. As you'll know, there is currently a war going on in Israel and across other countries in the Middle East at the moment. And there has been a lot happening to do with the war over the past week. So let's now have a quick roundup of what's been happening in Israel recently. So, airstrikes have been continuing in the area with reports of lots of casualties. Meanwhile, the conflict has also been worsening in other countries other than Israel, for example, Lebanon. Also, the United States has been putting pressure on Israel to increase humanitarian aid. Okay, we've still got plenty to come for you on our show here at Notorious News today, including we'll have what you need to know about electronic tongs and what you need to know about the election in the United States. Okay, but next, and recent studies show that a quarter of 11 to 15-year-olds have tried vaping. This is according to recent NHS figures. Furthermore, almost 1 in 10 use vapes on a regular basis. Health professionals are worried, especially because this is a large increase compared to previous years. It's news which highlights need for more awareness of the risks surrounding vaping. Now, the UK government are being urged to bring forward the Tobacco and Vapes Bill. Okay, next, let's now talk about the election in the United States, which is currently underway. and it is almost over. It's only about a few weeks now until people in the United States will be voting for who they want to be the new president. Either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. So, what's been happening in the polls recently? Well, latest polls show that it is a very tight presidential race and that both of them are neck and neck. National poll averages do show that Kamala Harris is slightly ahead, but it's very hard to call, and key states like Michigan show that they are tied. So it is certainly a very close race, so we will have to be watching very closely on what happens, and here at Notorious News we will make sure to update you with the latest information. Right, moving on, let's now have some news for the technology fans out there and talk about electronic tongues, which are very interesting pieces of technology in the world of food science. They use artificial intelligence and thin sensors to mimic human taste. The e-tongue can detect gas molecules. They can identify subtle flavour differences, for example, early spoilage in juice. The artificial intelligence part of the electronic tongues uses neural networks to interpret data. This mimics how the human brain processes taste. But apart from being cool devices, do they have any important uses? Well, they could have important applications in society. For example, in quality control in manufacturing processes, the safety of food, and they could even potentially be used to detect diseases. So they are very cool, but they could have potential very important applications. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure to present the roundup to you this week. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure to do so. It's absolutely free, and it means you'll never miss out on the latest updates from us here at Notorious News. And also make sure to click above on one of our videos too to watch one of our shows